It's been 8 months since Tent City was removed by City of London police, but on the 13th of October, protesters again assembled outside St Paul's Cathedral to mark the 1-year anniversary of Occupy London. The Occupy movement began in mid-2011 as a meme created by the anti-consumerist magazine Adbusters. What began in America as Occupy Wall Street soon spread around the world, with disillusioned activists rallying around the slogan, "We are the 99%, contrasting the 1% of the world who own the majority of the wealth. On the 15th of October 2011, Occupy came to London. The protesters had originally intended to camp outside the London Stock Exchange, but finding it cordoned off by police, they moved their camp to St Paul's, where they stayed until they were evicted in February.
Yeah, so we're here for Global Noise, and we're sitting here with our friends, and we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be a ruckus. We're gonna cause a ruckus. That's what we're gonna do. Me and my boys, me and my pals, yeah, we're doing it all. We're doing it right here. It's gonna be fantastic. You should come. You should come.
This weekend's events were part of an international day of action called Global Noise, taking place in dozens of cities around the world. As such, the day was marked by poetry, music, and a lot of noise.
I say tomato, you say tomato! 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 I say mindless, you say automaton! Mindless! Automaton! Mindless! Automaton! I say what do you value about living in a Western democracy? You say the freedom of independent thought! What do you value about living in a Western democracy? The freedom of independent thought! Come on guys, build a memory tree! What do we want? A friendlier policing strategy from the authorities and an adherence to international norms regarding preventative detention of basic human rights such as the freedom of movement and the right to peaceful protest. When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Freedom! Somebody just said freedom. Beautiful.
I think the Occupy movement has been tremendously successful in highlighting the abuses and failings of the free market system. It's shown that the current economic system is not working and that millions of people in this country do want change. We want a fairer, more just and indeed more stable economy. An economy that will serve the people and not just the richest 1%.
They certainly made a lot of noise, but in the year since Occupy London began, has anything really changed? In spite of a few token sacrifices among the banking sector, executive pay among FTSE 100 companies is still soaring, while the 99% have seen their living standards worsen. Is the message actually coming across?
I mean, one of the first things I think is worth saying that we were here 12 months ago and we were talking about the various things that are wrong in terms of the system. So the wider sort of form of capitalism that now exists, the sort of unbridled capitalism that exists, and within that, what the banks were able to do. And we were basically talking about the fact that, it is unjust that the banks have basically caused mayhem and suffering for millions and millions of people. We brought that to the attention of the mainstream, and we feel that actually by doing that, we've had a lot more people talking about it. We've had politicians certainly talking about it. I mean, 3 months after, or I think it was just after we first arrived, we had Cameron talking about responsible capitalism or moral capitalism, and that's been echoed by other politicians. We've seen stuff in the papers debating inequality. We've seen lots of activity with regards to tax avoidance, with regards to accountability of the banks, and we brought attention of that to a lot of people, and that's one of the greatest achievements so far.
Others were more sceptical about the movement's direction.
There's kind of a lack of urgency in the United Kingdom that's troubling for those of us who are trying to make things happen. And also, United Kingdom has a longer tradition of left activism. So you have lots and lots of different groups across London, across the UK, doing their own thing, where you have anarchist groups, you have socialist groups, you have groups that are concentrating on particular issues like Stop the War, or you've got some great stuff happening on workfare, and it means that they don't all congregate around an umbrella movement like Occupy, because they go in, they engage with it, they see some things they don't like, and they think, oh, I can go back to my other group, which I know is something that I purely agree with. and people have not wanted to engage as much with the Occupy idea here, which I think is a tension, and it's one that's understandable on both sides. But in America, there's just nothing else, and so Occupy is the only show in town, and people are getting behind it.
The gap between rich and poor grows ever wider, and with civil society in parts of Europe seemingly on the verge of collapse, it seems as though Occupy may be with us for a long time to come. Alex McDonald, London 360.